we had a teacher in Lincoln, Kansas that had come out here, I think a couple of years ahead of us, and she kept saying, come out and interview. I think you'll really like it. We'd been there 6 years. So we left our kids with his sister, and we came to Colorado and stayed with her. And she'd already set up for us to interview at this Whitefield School District. So we went out and interviewed with them. Actually, we interviewed them instead of them interviewing us like they do nowadays. We just interviewed them, and they signed us both contracts that day. Then, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, we signed contracts, and they wanted us, of course, we were going to move out. This was in like March or April. And to back up a little bit, the reason that we were looking is I taught 5th grade. Elementary wasn't where I wanted. I wanted junior high or high school. And the year before, they said, okay, we'll have an opening for social studies at the junior high. And what happened was they were short a coach at the high school, and there was a guy that could coach, wanted to coach whatever sport it was, and so they gave him the job because he was a coach. And then they said, well, next year, we'll be sure and give it to you. The same thing happened the next year. And so it was in April is when we came out. Then I said, well, we're going to look because, they're going to keep doing this, and I'm not going to get to where I wanted, because I wanted to go into counseling and then into administration, and I wasn't going to have that chance to do that. So we came out, and then she said, we signed the contracts, and then I told them, I said, well, we don't have any place to live. We don't have really very much furniture, because we lived in a little very small two-bedroom home in Lincoln that we rented. And they said, well, why don't we take you down to the Whitefield homes and talk to them? And so we did, and we went down there, and make a story short, that day we picked out the lot, we picked out our house, we picked out the brick on it, we picked out the carpets, we picked out the colors of paint and everything, and we did all of that. And then they said, well, is there anything else you need? And I said, well, we don't have furniture for any of this stuff, really. And they said, well, let us call Sears. And they had a gal that they called, and they sent us in there. And so we picked out 2-bedroom sets, about 6 or 8 different pieces. And just put it on a note. And we didn't put anything down. And for the house, we didn't have any money to put down on the lot or anything. And they said, well, you have retirement, don't you, in Kansas? And they said, yeah, we have some for 6 years. And they said, if you'll just sign the retirement, whatever it is, if you'll just sign that over to us when you're eligible to get it, we'll take that as the down payment. And Sears said, we don't have any money to put down, but would you come, when you come out here, would you work for us after school and on weekends? And if you'll do that, well, then we'll, but they kept the furniture. They didn't let it go, so they weren't really risking anything on that. And so I did come back, and we moved in. We left Lincoln at 4 o'clock on Friday night, and we were back in Hayes. Our brother-in-law, Lincoln, is east of Hayes, Kansas, and so we had to go through Hayes and dropped our kids off, and we were back at Hayes at 9 o'clock Saturday night. And we had both signed contracts. We had a house on the way being built, and we had furniture for it.
All in one day.
All in one day. God does work miracles.
The people in Lincoln were completely shocked.
Oh, they were so upset. They said, they came to me, the superintendent came and said, Bill, we'd have given you anything you wanted. And I said, you had 2 years to do that, and you didn't do it. And he said, well, we didn't know you were going to change. You were going to leave us. And I said, well, that's the way it is.
That's how we came to Colorado in '62.